Have you ever been asked if you could only take one book if you were stuck on a deserted island, what book would you take? Well, this is my answer. The Reformation Study Bible, the best book that money can buy world over. It's translated from the originals, Hebrew, Greek, and Aramaic, into English, the English Standard Version, arguably the best translation out there. And what you have are the translator notes. You have over 60 scholars and articles written by the scholars and the original translators themselves, including an introduction by R.C. Sproul, the general editor. So let's get ready to get smart. What do I mean by that? Well, for example, let's just say I click on theological notes. Here are doctrines and creeds and statements of faith that no Christian should be ignorant of, but most of us are. And these are statements of faith that have united Christians the world over in every generation, dating back to the early church to now, in terms of what Bible-believing Christians believe. Here we also find the theological notes that no Christians should be ignorant of, no pastor should be ignorant of in preaching from the pulpit, doctrines such as original sin and, for example, apostles. A lot of confusion about this topic today. So you click on that, it takes you to the article of apostles, and you can find right here within, it's embedded within the book of Acts, a very appropriate place for this topic, and you can read this article about the apostles. And then I'll take us back here to the title page. And when you look at the various books of the Bible, for example, you get an explanation of the Pentateuch, the first 5 books of the Bible, and the scholarly background and its view of that in its historical context. Let's say I click on Genesis. I can look at study material if I'm going to do a Bible study on this, and I can get background information on the title of the book, the authorship, its date and occasion, the literary genre, the literary features, and various characteristics and themes to the book, as well as its theology, as well as how we can see Christ on every page in Genesis. It's a beautiful explanation of how, as Christians, we're to approach Scripture. It even addresses special scholarly issues that people in the world, if you take a class on the Bible in a public university, for instance, they're going to bring up the JEDP theory. Well, that's addressed here. That idea that just was written by various sources, even outside of the Hebrew culture. And these issues are addressed. That's the JEDP theory, and really critiques those quite well, equips you as a Christian to refute those claims. And again, what I like about this is that it organizes Genesis in a way that you can see it in a glance, the outline of the book on the various topics. Another great thing, I'd say perhaps maybe the most powerful thing that you can see are the study notes themselves. So in every book of the Bible, you'll find, we'll go down to a book in the New Testament, let's just say, I'll go to Hebrews. You can see the same notes here, but you can jump anywhere within the book itself, including the study notes. You can just look at the study notes as a whole, or you can see them as they're embedded within the book. So I'll go to the first chapter of Hebrews, and I click on Hebrews 1:1, and I'll see these blue crosses. You click on them, and you get a pop-up of the theological notes written by the translators, giving you explanations of various phrases and words, even controversial words, as well as cross-references to other scriptures in the Bible that use the same language or the same word or the same idea or theme. And it takes various expressions or phrases and gives explanation, as well as, for example, these quotes from the Old Testament, and puts them in their context and shows you where they're coming from in the Septuagint and in Psalms, Deuteronomy, and so on, and how these are brought together in terms of, for example, Christ's messiahship, as it's pointed out, even from the Old Testament in Psalms and other verses. So what a beautiful way to have at your fingertips the entire scriptures in such a powerful way. It's second to none. But again, you can see the list of the creeds and confessions, other resources, a concordance, a Bible reading plan, tables, weights, and measures. You can also see I like this feature. Perhaps a lot of people would like to see it as well. Text maps and illustrations. These are certainly a nice bonus. And some of them are even in color. You can get For example, Jesus's journeys, what Jesus's path may have been like with his parents as a child, from the time he was born and their flight to Egypt. For example, I could even zoom in on it and see that path that he took. And it's just, you'll never find a Bible more replete with information and study notes than you're going to find here in this Reformation Study Bible.